Okay, attendees filing in. Thank you for joining us, everyone, today. I know it's short notice, but this has come up as probably the most important thing in our world, and I hope it is in yours too. My name is Julian Luthold. I'm the founder and CEO of Get Global, and we are talking today to Hawk Newsome, who is the president of Black Lives Matter New York, and we're going to talk about how companies can be allies, how they can play a constructive role considering everything that's going on right now. Thank you so much for joining us, Hawk. I really appreciate this.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Parting the noise in the background, I'm here in LA, outside the mayor's house. There's a BLM protest. People calling to defund the police. So that's what we're doing out here. We're just here strictly to show support, and very happy to talk to you all.
I'm going to ask that we have a moment of silence in memory of George Floyd, to think of him, to imagine his face, and Hawk, if you can give us maybe a scene of what you're seeing out there at the protest, we'll probably stay silent for about 30 seconds. So the immediate question that I think that some folks may be needing to have contextualized for them before we get into everything is your view of how businesses should understand how we got here and why these incidents have erupted the way that they have.
Well, we at Black Lives Matter Greater New York, we are, I guess one of the most notable Black Lives Matter organizations, and right on. And I'm sorry, I just want to let y'all know what's happening. We have about 3,000 people, maybe more, in front of the mayor's house. They have a street closed off. There are police about 100 yards from me in riot gear. There's helicopters circling. There's people communicating. So, you are here with me in it. You are definitely here with me in it. So, Black Lives Matter has done a lot, but it's all grassroots. We've never taken a corporate dime. We've never taken a dime from politicians because that comes with strings attached. And to be perfectly honest with me, you can't buy your absolution with me. If you have business practices that put people and the planet in danger, make no mistake about it, you're part of the problem, okay? So if you take part of that, and you make a donation and you want to publicize it, it's really rough for me. And the older activists and most of the older activists who are more notable, they had no problem taking corporate money, even corporations with foul business practice that continue to oppress our people, but not the new radical breed of activists. The new radical breed of activists are really, really, really against true capitalism. Why? Because we don't believe that a person should be exploited. I refer to myself as a champagne socialist, right? And I think you could have whatever you want. You can drive whatever car you want. You can make as much money as you want. But you should see the world through the lens of everyone should have food. Everyone should have a home. Everyone should have health care.
Now, what would you say are the most urgent and meaningful ways that businesses can be of assistance and support to the protesters right now?
Okay. Well, here's the thing. I know that businesses have lobbyists, and I know when they want to move the ball along, they pay these lobbyists, who in turn pay politicians. So when I see us trying to pass an act that says, that's the I Can't Breathe Act, which says an officer should be charged with a felony if someone says, I can't breathe, and he doesn't disengage, or if someone is in medical distress and they don't receive help. I know that a corporation could pass that bill. One last added thing to that, if the officer doesn't help this individual and the person dies, the officer should be facing a murder charge. Now, I know with just the people on this phone, if they said, hey, you know what, Hawk went to law school, he's a crazy radical activist, but he did go to law school, and he thinks that this would help, and folks out there with him believe that this would help, then maybe we should put some energy behind it and make a difference. Because a lot of people on this phone call know what it takes to move the ball along. And we play dumb and we say, hey, just keep marching peacefully and, just keep swinging and keep singing and holding hands and you'll get justice. When we all know that if you put some money behind a bill to stop the police or you threaten to defund the police, then their activities would change, their actions would change.
So you're encouraging then a longer view and to have companies focus on the bigger picture rather than necessarily engaging in assistance right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say assist individuals in groups who deserve it now. Now, if you look at an organization, a grassroots organization, look at their patterns, look at their style of activism. Have your people research the leaders' social media. You should see them helping kids. You should see them helping people. You should see them being radical and being out there and pushing the envelope. Don't be surprised when somebody says, can I curse on here?
Yeah, go for it, bud.
If don't be surprised and taken aback if we say, fuck the police. Because you looked at the George Floyd video and you said, fuck the police. How could they do that to somebody? But we are hyper-focused on these actions by the police, by the government that oppress people. So we are on it. We are always on it. And when you're looking for a group to donate to, you might want to look for a group that's not out here. It's like, some sort of terrorist organization, but you want a radical group who's pushing the imaginations of many on a lot of these issues. That's who you want to support.
Okay. Now, how can executives offer assistance and support to Black employees now and in the future?
The reason why Black celebrities don't get involved in these actions is because they're afraid of retribution. Retribution, Colin Kaepernick. You know what I mean? Retribution, Sister Soldier when she spoke out against Bill Clinton, and she just disappeared. Black folks, I know this. I know a lot of educated Black folk who say, "Hey, Hawk, I can give you some money, but I can't be out there with you in the street because of social media, and if they take my picture, it goes back to my job. I'll be isolated." Let's be perfectly clear. Everyone on this phone, when Black people speak up, they are punished, right? Like, am I wrong? Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr. There's just a really long list of Black people who took a really pro-Black stance and were penalized for it. Now, you have to understand that being pro-Black doesn't make you anti-white. So, if somebody's pro-Israel, does that mean you hate the rest of the world? No. But when you're a Black person and you're advocating for the rights of your people, they throw racism right back out at you. Let me explain something to you all. Black people do not have the power to be racist. Why? Because Black people don't own banks. They can't deny you loans, right? Black people don't really give you access to colleges. We are not the majority of the CEOs of these Fortune 500, 100, whatever companies. We do not control politics and legislation. We don't have the power to deny white people access. So when you point the finger at a black person and say, hey, you're pro-black, you want to build a black community, like, it's kind of hypocritical. And I know I'm being very curt. It's just, I don't know when tear gas is going to come flying out the sky. So I just want to make sure we get as much possible,
Sure.
much in as possible.
And don't worry, I'm hoping that we can do this again and have even more time to ramp up and build. We've had a lot of support getting the word out today, so we don't need to hit absolutely everything, but this is great. So Black employees right now, companies should probably be expressing solidarity with them and giving them time off, childcare. Is there anything else in your mind that would be helpful along those lines?
Support them. Tell them it's okay to go and protest. But we are starting a new organization, right? It's like, what do we do next? And that's called Black Opportunities, Black Ops. And we are building our communities, right? So a white Republican ex-Marine cop told me this over a cigar, right? He said two things you never hear a Democrat say in the same sentence. Black people and economic development, right? I always wonder, they never really mean it when they say it. Why? With all these smart people in the world, you know what it takes for us to overcome poverty. Why aren't there financial literacy courses in every poor neighborhood? We can afford it. Why aren't we teaching Black kids about entrepreneurship? We all know that the fourth industrial revolution is on the horizon, right? Automation is coming. I'm sorry, the helicopters are really, really low. Can you see them?
Yeah.
Well, automation is real, and this is happening. Why aren't we teaching poor Black people about teaching them trades that will give them jobs when the industrial revolution happens? Like, it's hard being someone who's conscious, that understands business, and that's an activist on the street, because I look up and I see the people at the top leaving us out to dry. And you get the feeling that you're all alone in this. Politicians aren't coming to your rescue. Police are definitely not coming to your rescue. So we have no choice but to build our own, to feed our own. And it's just where we are, right? Like, what we're talking about is sovereignty, is Black liberation, freedom from oppression. And we do that through building communities, right? Where we control the police, we police ourselves, where we control the schools, where we control, we have our own amulet service. And I know people are like, wait, Hawk, what are you talking about, separating? Do you say that to Jewish people? Because Jewish people have all of these things in their communities, and I admire them for it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I really admire Shabbat dinners and how everybody comes together on Fridays. I want to bring that to Black communities. I really want to build community and to teach our people, educate them, and empower them. I don't want handouts. We don't need handouts, but what we need is systems put in place that will help us escape this hole that we're trapped in, right? And when you think about this hole that we're trapped in, we all know it's intentional. We all know it's intentional. And if there's somebody who's like, no, it doesn't exist, then you haven't been paying attention the last, 400 years.
Something? We've got a lot of really powerful people on this line, and I can assure you that they are ready to make some very significant changes on your behalf, the Black community, that is. So consider us all in this together. I mean, certainly you can count on us as your ally. And, let's explore over the coming days and weeks about how we can make a big difference on that. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I did want to mention, like, I've been getting so much communication from people about how they can step in and help. And I think this is the moment where if they haven't been participating, they are very much ready to.
That's awesome. But what I'm saying is, make sure it's a group pushing for real change, right? You look at Al Sharpton and his default president of Black America. I can't name one program that this man started and continued in our community. He had every single Democratic presidential candidate in his home, in his convention, right? Nobody gave us any concrete legislation. We're tired of playing, right? We have to protect our own community. We have to run our own politicians. Our co-founder, Hawk Newsome, is running for Congress in the South Bronx. She is well-educated, Fordham, Howard University. She ran a business for a long time before she became an activist, and she's qualified, right? But people would rather support suits. But I'm gonna tell you the wave of the future. Just like I predicted these riots, and if you go on my timeline, you'll see it. The wave of the future isn't suits and people who know how to shake hands and hobnob. The future of politics is people who are outside in all black with bandanas on their faces saying, fuck this shit, we won't take it anymore. That's the future of politics. You know why? Because America trusts us. They don't trust politicians. They don't trust business people. They trust us because they know that we are out here risking our lives, going to jail. I was in Minnesota in that chaos. We do this because we love people more than we love money, more than we love power. We love people. This is the way. This is the way of the future. It's young people who are not politically correct, who care enough to risk their lives. You see this? You see the people walking? Yep. Curfew is in about a half hour. People are walking to protest. They know that the cops have guns and rubber bullets, tear gas. These aren't crazy radical revolutionaries. They're college students. They're working people. I'm looking at a woman across the street who's 60 years old white woman. Like, these are just people who care. We're taking over the world. Today's a shrewd business people. I'm out to make a buck, screw everybody. I'll use my PR department, do some cool things and make some new cool commercials when the time is right. Those days are over. Over.
We have been witnessing that with the COVID response network that we started up to manage the coronavirus issues. Nobody wants to hear that kind of nonsense right now. It is just not working.
And
let me ask you another question here.
I commend you. I commend Cynthia. Like, you are truly allies. You know what I mean? Like, I had to jump off a flight from Minnesota to LA, and this city's locked down. I couldn't get socks. I couldn't get anything I needed. She had someone bring me pants today and like toothbrush and mouthwash and, you know, and like socks. Like, that's what the fuck I'm talking about. I mean, I'm sorry, I forget. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, you can count on us now and in the future. Let me ask you. So we've got some really key things here that I think will help a lot of the folks on this call to have next steps, concrete things that they can do to be supportive to you.
Okay.
So how should sourcing, supply chain, and logistics professionals have an impact on empowering Black businesses and communities?
Support Black businesses. Make a conscious effort to support Black businesses. Just don't say, you know, I'm with MWBEs. Like, no, you seek out Black businesses and you support them. You do business with them. You uplift them. You go into our communities. You find a conduit. Use us. We'll bring you in our communities to help teach our children these professions, to help teach our children, give our children access to knowledge that your children have just by sitting at the dinner table. Like, this is what we need. Like, nobody's asking for anything out of the ordinary. We just want what other Americans have. Like, we built this country for free. We want reparations. Like, just imagine somebody builds your entire home and you kick them out, and when they you don't pay them, you kick them out, and when they complain, you call the police to beat them up. Wow, that's slavery. and activism and policing in 2 sentences.
So to the folks on the line here, examine your supply chains, look at the vendors that you use, find out if you have a significant portion of Black-owned companies or companies that do a lot of hiring in Black communities. That's, I think, a very big concrete step that we can all take. Hawk?
Yeah, I mean,
here's another one.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in total agreement.
And regarding human resources, you know, training programs, all of that stuff, that should definitely be on the agenda. Focus on Black interns, make sure that your pipeline is looking diverse.
I'm sorry, interns, and then leadership as well. And when you go out and you want to find, someone to come out, do an analysis, give you data on the racism in your company, you want to find a radical person who's going to come in there and make everybody uncomfortable, right? It's okay to be uncomfortable because everything that this country taught us is wrong. Like, we're forced to believe that our history, Black history, started in slavery. They don't talk about Africa, how we were kings and queens, how we invented the wheel and mathematics and the pyramids. Like, no one talks about this. Like, our textbooks don't reflect our experience. We are miseducated intentionally, and everyone knows it. Christopher Columbus was a self-admitted pedophile. He committed genocide and he stole land. Why do indigenous people have to walk past his statue? Do you think that's right? Like, does anyone think that's right? Why do we have Columbus Avenue and Columbus High School? Like, these things are wrong. They're absolutely wrong. And it's really, really, really problematic.
How should CEOs be communicating their support and reorienting strategy right now? What would make you impressed?
Take those bonuses and give them to community organizations to let them do the work. Greed. I believe in getting paid with my work, but corporate greed is evil. Like, greed is a sin. It's just wrong. There's no reason that one person or a group of people should have more money than everybody on the planet. And that group of people, said group of people, don't say, hey, you know what? There are more empty apartments than there are homeless people in New York. Let's found housing for people, right? Let's give people health care. Let's make college free. Where I'm from, in the Bronx, we have a 40% high school dropout rate. We have a 90% college dropout rate. So if our kids can hustle and stay focused enough to get to college, they can't afford to stay there. That's problematic. Like, it's just really, really problematic. And there are people with enough money to really change these things. And you know what? We're starting a new organization to really build our community. You don't have to give us money. We don't need your money. But what we need you to do is we need you to go and use your politicians that you bought and paid for. Use your influence to change the laws of the land. You want to know what laws we want changed or what our agenda is? This Sunday in Times Square at noon, we're gonna roll out the Black Opportunities Program, and we're gonna branch it out into all states. And just so you're not alarmed, we will have a self-defense division. There's no reason that Black people should sit back and allow cops to shoot us while we're unarmed and to choke us to death. Any sane human being would defend themselves.
Now, going and touching on what you said about government affairs and lobbying and politicians and so forth, what are some creative and interesting ways that perhaps companies can be exploring how they can identify and cultivate political leaders either Black or sympathetic and allies to support politicians that do want to make change? How should they be looking at the local, state, federal, or even global level?
Man, you need to find real people who aren't compromised, who are serious about helping people. That's what you really need. That's what you really, really need. You need people who are really out here trying to help one another. You know, you need people who are genuine, who may or may not be educated. You'd be looking for the mayor. You'd be looking for the mayor. You know how the neighborhood has a mayor who's not elected. He just knows everyone. He's good-hearted, or she's a good-hearted person. That's the person you want to elect. That's the person you want to elect. Not political hacks. Political like interns and people who play politics their whole life. Not someone who's seeking power, money. Someone who has a real concrete plan to help their people. Someone who's proven to be for the people. That's what we really need. That's what we really need. Honestly, you should really look to organizations that do the work on the ground and see what leaders they have and develop them. Usually the leaders you're looking for will not be friends of local politicians. They'll be the ones who challenge them frequently, like the folks who are sitting out here in front of the mayor's house. You need people who are disruptors, because this country needs to elect revolutionaries. Look at the state of the country. Look at how COVID ravaged Black communities. Look at what the police are doing. Look at who we have in the White House. This country needs a revolution. It needs a drastic change. So that's who you need to be elected.
Now we have a question that came in about the plan, strategy, vision, and action items around it, recognizing that obviously Black Lives Matter has huge influence and potential. Folks, this is a really tense time. I wouldn't worry too much about that. He's giving us all kinds of raw intelligence and insight here, and we'll come back. We'll come back with more. This isn't the end. He's got a lot going on around him, so let's be cognizant of that. And you know, we'll get through as much of this as we can today, and then we'll come back at another time. Now, here's another question, Hawk. We had a question about boycotts and avoiding brand risk, or boycotts and dropping clients, partners, suppliers, and things like that who are on the wrong side of this. Either they are.
I really think things are moving around down here. I really got to go and check and see what's going on. I thank you all. I really want to talk to you all again, but I really got to go now.
Okay, understood. Okay, I'll say.
Thank you.
Folks, we'll come back another time with him. We'll do this again, I promise, as soon as he can possibly do it. But, you know, we did get a question about boycotts and dropping clients and partners who are on the wrong side of this. I strongly urge you to think about it, because folks really need to feel this. They need to know. And there is a right side, and we need to stand with that side. So I was hoping that we would be able to talk about, you know, some bigger plans that we have in the works and things like that. But folks who want to make a difference, there's a lot going on over here, and it's moving so fast. Please get in touch with me if you do want to get involved. We're putting stuff together. We've already got great things in motion, really, really cool stuff. So if this is important to you, if you want to do things with us, please just write me an email, and I'll get back to you ASAP. Sorry that was cut short, but I kind of expected it, and he mentioned that it might be a possibility. Do you guys have any questions that you want to come up with in the chat or in the Q&A right now? Simone, yes. Feel free to type right there. I'll just announce it here. Oh, yeah, of course. My email is Julian, Julian, @ getglobal, GETGLOBAL.co. Julian at getglobal.co, not com. So you can email me on that and I'll get right back to you. Any other questions? When we come back for this, I hope that everyone will put in, a moment to think about some questions that you'd like him to answer, so that and it's, that gives a view into the kind of concrete steps that we can all take and get everyone thinking, your colleagues, everyone. So yeah, Cindy, I'll work on that. I think that he just had a lot going on around him, and I think that's understandable. He had to be out today. So, I'll get on the phone with him and start to work out what I'm sure he's already got. I can't imagine that they don't have a strategy going forward, but I will talk to him about that and I will come back to you. Yeah, a collaborator there, Cynthia Johnson, just said that they do. So we'll come back with that soon. Thank you, Sheila. I am so glad to hear that you'll be looking into your vendors list and procurement. Any feedback too would be helpful along those lines that Cindy was offering. Like, is there anything else that you want to see? Anything you want us to do? At the international level, Kate, yes, that is something that we'll be exploring as well. We've got some interesting folks in the international sphere here. My pleasure, Jess. Your partnership means a lot to us. Are there any media companies on here that manage and book times on Times Square billboards? That would be fantastic. Good thinking. Very good thinking. Doing something on Saturday would would be pretty awesome. Oh, it's Sunday. Whoops. Don't feel guilty if you duck out. That's fine. We'll be back again. I'm just chilling here for a minute and answering questions, seeing if anyone's got any interesting ideas about what to do next. We've got them. You'll be seeing a lot, but I'd like to make this as collaborative and inclusive as we can. Yeah, Kate. So I'll give this another like 2 minutes, just in case you're typing or anything like that. Simone just said that he has a long question. That's totally fine. Yeah, Kuntal and Leah, I think your ears probably perked up when he said economic development. I think that we can do something about that. Allegra's my sister, guys. Hi, Allegra. Excellent. That's good to hear, Leah. So we get some workshops for people of color, how they can grow domestically and internationally. Simone is asking, I want to find out if they organize ahead of time. I would like to see businesses involved long before another life is lost. These businesses can be a base for security in the form of recording all actions. Interesting. I've been out during the so-called riots, and the people that are causing damage are not supporters, but we will not see their face on the news. I have seen that myself. I live in downtown. I went to LAPD headquarters and the city hall. There's a few troublemakers, and then there are folks who have a really sincere message, and that would be great to collect. Let's write that down for the next one. How the media can be better in terms of coverage, fact-based reporting, not sensationalizing events, and facts that spread information. Yeah, okay, for the next one, for sure. Neighborhood watch concept is great. Honestly, Nextdoor should be all over this. Well, folks, I think we'll wind it down. If you have anything else that you want to say, you know, any ideas, anything at all, you and your company would like to explore partnership in some form or fashion, this is all moving very, very fast. So the sooner we talk, the better it'll be. And I thank you for tuning in and getting on this so quickly, and expect more of this and a lot even bigger. So thank you again for joining us. I'm going to sign off now. Be safe. Please keep George Floyd and our Black countrymen in your heart. And let's go change this.